Not everything has to be on in the newspapers tomorrow morning. This concept of what's called in Hebrew zechut hasibur lada'at, the right of the public to know, which is often nothing to do with the public, but the right of journalists to self-aggrandize and to cause and to publish a scoop before somebody else, because that's how they make their living, very often by publishing lashon hara and other hateful things. There is no such zechut according to the Torah. The entire world of media would have to be reformed according to the Torah. What we have today, of course, is not just unsatisfactory, it's a total and utter shambles and more than an embarrassment. And it sets the tone, unfortunately. Excuse me, it sets the tone for an entire society on the wrong footing, completely on the wrong footing. And people concentrate and talk about all kinds of irrelevancies and etc. Now, certain things do need to be known, but this kind of thing, let's say there was a great chacham, and it's unfortunately the case, it became known that he was involved in some kind of sexual impropriety. That's a terrible thing, and he needs to be punished, and he needs to be excommunicated. True, but it doesn't have to be on the front page of the newspaper. It doesn't have to be in the news the next morning. And Hilul Hashem is a sufficient, more than sufficient consideration to override all other considerations. So if he needs to be punished by way of a flogging or something like that, this is done. It's not the case that because he's a Chacham Gadol, he's patur, he's exempt from punishment as somebody else would be. That's not true. He is to be punished. And then what happens after that? And now go and stay at home. In other words, it's not house arrest, but show yourself as little as possible in public and disappear, at least for a good period of time. And by doing so, he's actually protecting his own reputation and honor by keeping a low profile and keeping the matter more or less under wraps. And this, by the way, I assume this is probably why in various communities, when certain very unsavory and very regrettable and terrible things happened or occurred in various Jewish communities, it goes without saying that whatever these things may be, whatever improprieties took place, they take place in other sectors of society, of human society, at a rate of probably 10,000 to 1. But that doesn't mean that they cannot occur, and they do occur for various reasons. This is probably why in some communities they choose to try and deal with these things quietly and not make it public knowledge, etc. And that is correct. The overriding consideration should not be whether this person who claims they were wronged, and very likely they were wronged, well, that also has to be investigated, because it's not always the case. It's the easiest thing nowadays to claim that so-and-so did something, and now you go and prove that he didn't do it. That's, as the expression goes in Hebrew, tochiach she'enecha achot, prove that you don't have a sister. In other words, if someone wants to ruin your reputation, all you have to do is start whispering into people's ears, he has a sister who's a prostitute. Forgive me, but that's the expression. So, and he hasn't even got a sister, but people wish to besmirch him. So the rumor was spread that his sister is a prostitute or a woman of loose morals or something of that type, which then somehow reflects upon him, even though he hasn't got a sister. How is he going to prove he has no sister? That's the expression. So then the idea is clear. It's very easy to accuse, but that's not enough. That also is true. That has to be considered. But the hashash of Hilul Hashem if the people involved are somehow representative of the Torah or the Torah community, that is a very serious consideration, and that overrides other considerations, such as a certain person feeling that they're able to avenge themselves or something like that. The person, this particular person's desire for revenge, etc., is not the overriding paramount concern. That doesn't mean that if compensation or something like that is in order, that shouldn't be arranged. But again, it can be done without polluting the public space. In general, such things, which the media likes to focus on for obvious reasons, because it sells newspapers or it brings them more advertising revenue. We should not be collaborating with such motivations and with such practices.